Welcome back to a brand new video. Happy Star Wars Day. Today is May the 4th, or May the Force be with you day. And today I've got a really cool review video lined up for you guys. But first, I have to get you guys in on a little bit of a secret. So just come here, I got a little secret for you. I have the high ground today. So like always, before we do go on to this video, a quick disclaimer is that this video is not sponsored by LEGO and all opinions are of my own. And like always, before we do get into this video, don't forget to hit the like button, make sure you hit the subscribe button, and most importantly, leave a comment down below. So without further ado, let's get into this. So before we start building this set, let's talk a little bit about it. This set is called Obi-Wan Kenobi's Jedi Starfighter, and it's set 75333 as part of the Star Wars themed set. It is targeted for ages 8 and up and was released back on August 1st, 2022. It has a total piece count of 282 pieces. It retails for $39.99 Canadian, $29.99 USD, and $29.99 euros. It has a price per brick of 14 cents per brick, which is really good because it's the average brick price for most LEGO sets. The set itself is 26 centimeters long, 12 centimeters wide, and 7 centimeters high. Now let's go ahead and talk about the box itself. Right off the bat, you know that this box artwork is perfect for the set itself. Right off the bat, you can see the Kaminoan city in the background, which sets the scene perfectly for when Obi-Wan enters the atmosphere in episode 2, just before he's about to land at the facility. In addition, on the front of the box, on the bottom right, you have the 3 minifigures that you get in this set, which we will talk about later on. And then finally, on the left-hand side, we get a very cool LEGO Darth Vader image, which I think is honestly perfect, and I think is really, really cool and really well done for this box artwork set. Moving on to the sides of the box, there really isn't anything interesting other than the 1-to-1 scale of the LEGO Tonway minifigure, which we will talk about in detail later on. On the back of the box, we actually get to see a little bit more of the functionality components. This includes actually being able to fire the lasers and, most importantly, store the R4 astromech when you're flying the ship itself. The other cool thing I love about this is that it's the follow-up scene from when Obi-Wan actually lands the ship at the Kaminoan city, just before he's about to learn about the clones, which we will talk about later on. So with that being said though, let's actually go ahead and build this set right now. Dive deep into this set, let's go ahead and talk a little bit about some background information. So where does this set actually come from? So the Star Wars set 75333 Obi-Wan Kenobi's Jedi Starfighter is based on the Star Wars Episode 2 Attack of the Clones scene, where Obi-Wan visits the Kaminoan island for the first time to learn about the production of the clone army. This is a very important scene in the movie because it basically sets the tone about how the Republic at the time is able to actually amass a massive clone army to fight the Separatists. This scene is very important in the movie because this is the first time we actually get to dive deep into learning how the clones are actually created and what their purpose is in the Star Wars universe. So before all that actually happens, when Obi-Wan does land the ship in the rain, which is perfectly represented even in the box artwork itself, first Kaminoan to greet Obi-Wan is Tonway, who does work at the overall facility for creating the clones. She is one of the administration aides to the Prime Minister Lama Su, who is also a big character in the Clone Wars saga. So now that we've learned a little bit about this scene, let's go ahead and talk about the minifigures that we get in this set.
Fighting blackouts every other night.
So the first character we're going to take a look at, or astromech in this case, is R4P17. So this is Obi-Wan's astromech character that he uses on this Starfighter. So there isn't really much of a difference between like these astromech characters compared to someone like R2-D2. Usually the only difference is really just like the color. So in this case, R4 is a red astromech, whereas R2-D2 would be more of a blue astromech. Comparing it to different versions from previous years, the only really difference is sometimes they just update the printing on the body of the piece. But in general, astromechs are pretty much maxed out when it comes to their printing. Like there isn't that that many new changes that they can make to them. So he's pretty generic, but still, in my opinion, a really nice color touch and works perfectly with his Starfighter. So other than that, it is still fairly accurate to the movie scene, which is always a really good thing. The second character we get is Ton Wei. So this character is really cool because to start it off, this is actually the only Ton Wei Kaminoan character that we actually get in Lego. Based off the research that I did, Lego actually hasn't printed any other Ton Wei characters other than the one that's found in this set, which I think is really cool because I think there's very limited Kaminoan Lego minifigure characters, which is absolutely awesome. I do love that they included her in this set just because when Obi-Wan does land at the Kaminoan city, she is the first person to greet them, and I think it sets the scene perfectly for Obi-Wan learning about the clones. So talking about the minifigure itself, I love the fact that the headpiece is completely original. It definitely gives you that alien feel look. I also do really like the body printings itself. It would have been cool though to see if they didn't use the basic Lego minifigure body and kind of like a dress torso piece. I think for a character like the Kaminoans, because they're fairly tall and skinny, it would have been nice to see more of a droid minifigure character where it's more lanky or skeleton-like. But other than that, I do like the fact that with the printings of this set, they do try to show more that it is more of a skinnier character, even though it's taking up more brick width than you would originally anticipate. But other than that, I think they did a pretty good job. I do like the headpiece. I think it's pretty accurate for Ton Wei. But honestly, that's just me being picky when it comes to just what, like, my opinions on with what the character should look like. Overall, I think they did do a really good job in printing the Ton Wei character. And then finally, we get Obi-Wan Kenobi. This is obviously the main character and the main reason you're probably buying this set when it comes to the minifigures themselves. What I do love about this minifigure is that it comes with two different headpieces. You've kind of got the initial headpiece, which is the one that you see on the front of the box, which is Obi-Wan flying to the Kaminoan planet for the first time. So he's got kind of his cool tech headpiece that he uses to even talk to R4 and all those kinds of things. And then in addition to that, when he does get off the island, because it is raining, you get the actual hood piece and a different facial expression because now he's not in a serious mode. He's kind of more in the I need to go and learn about what's going on with these clones mode, if you want to call it that, a more friendlier face. What I also really like is actually the robe that he wears. You can kind of see the little details to show that it is a robe, so it's not like a perfectly fit shirt, so you have those creases. But also at the same time, I think the creases also make it look like there's like water droplets on the back of him as well as on the front. So I think overall they definitely nailed the printing for the Obi-Wan Kenobi character. And also, I also really like the fact that they gave him the long hair, similar to like it is in the Star Wars scene, so which I think is really, really well done. So yeah, now that we've talked about the minifigures, let's go ahead and talk about what it was like to build this set. So this set took me about 50 minutes to build. It contains 3 bags, had 15 stickers, and 13 of them were actually unique stickers. It did come with 1 printed piece, which was the control panel part of the cockpit for Obi-Wan's starship. In addition to that, it did come with 13 extra pieces. What I did think was really funny is when I was test playing with the laser cannons, if you want to call them that, on his starship, I actually ended up losing one of those green laser shooter pieces. So it's kind of nice that they do give you 2 extras because the floor that I'm currently sitting on, or the carpet, is actually green and I still can't find the piece, which I thought was pretty funny. So I'm actually happy that they give you 2 extra pieces instead of the 1, like if you saw in the Yoda video that I previously did, they only actually give you 1 additional laser piece. So when you're building this set, the first bag contains the first main character, which is Obi-Wan. And in addition to that, you actually go ahead and make the hull of the ship, or like the middle component itself. When you move on to bag 2, you actually build like one of the wings. So in this case, it's the right-hand side wing. And then you also get to build the next character, which is Ton Wei. And then finally, when you build the third bag, you actually get to build the last part of the wing. And then in addition to that, you build the last astromech character, R4 himself. So one thing I did actually enjoy about this is like as you were building this set, you got to build a character with each bag, which I thought was a really, really nice touch. And then in addition to that, so this booklet does have 100 pages in it. And similar to a lot of sets that are from this age range, or that are part of this age range, you kind of get Obi-Wan that follows you throughout the book, which again, very nice touch from Lego. And I generally do enjoy it because it is nice to progress through it, which is really cool. We talked about the specifics about building the set. Let's go ahead and actually give this thing the AJL Bricks rating. So this is kind of the part you guys have all been waiting for. This is where I go ahead and do the official AJL Bricks rating, or where I actually give you the full review based off of what I actually think of building this set itself. So this section is split up into 6 parts. We're going to talk about the box artwork, we're going to talk about the instructions clarity, we're going to talk about the build experience, we're going to talk about the durability of the set, the design accuracy, and most importantly, the design creativity. So let's get into it right now. We'll start things off with the box artwork. Like I said at the very beginning when we were describing the box itself, I think they did a really, really good job. I think they set the scene perfectly for what type of set this is for, and I'm very much a big fan of it. It's very eye-catching, and for the people who watch the Star Wars Episode 2 movie, you would perfectly understand this scene. I think they nailed the box this time. I think it's very simple, but most importantly, it sets the scene perfectly for what this set is made for. So with that being said though, I'm actually going to give this a 10 on 10. Moving on to the instructions clarity, same thing with this one. Why I actually really enjoyed about this one, and I mentioned it just before, was the fact that as you were building the set with each bag, you got to build a new character. And by doing that, I thought was a really, really good idea when it came to actually setting up the instruction and making this a more fun build. What I think it does is that people, it doesn't really matter your age group, but as you're building the set, you get to look forward to the next bag because you get to build a new character. And I thought that was a really, really nice touch. In addition to having Obi-Wan progress through the booklet with you. And on top of that, the instructions themselves were very clear. The fact that you start with bag 1 making the main hull, and then the other 2 bags are making the wings, there wasn't really anything confusing, and I thought the build experience was, I thought the instruction clarity to make that build experience was definitely very easy and very fun. And because of that, I'm gonna give this, the instruction clarity, also a 10 on 10 rating. Now let's go on to the build experience itself. Did I think there was any repeat steps? Did I feel like that this was a fun build? Did it feel like it took too long or I had issues building it? Kind of situation is what I look for when rating this set in this case. So in my opinion, I actually thoroughly enjoyed building this set. I built this actually on a work night. It was a Thursday night. I think it was around like 9:30 at night when I ended up building this set. It only took me 50 minutes, and the overall build experience was actually a lot of fun. And I think that had to do with the fact of how you were able to build a minifigure character throughout each bag, and also how the set was split up. I like the fact that you built the hull, then you built both wings with each individual bag, so the steps were very clear and it was very fun to do. The overall build experience I thought was pretty well done. Again, my only thing that I thought was a little bit odd was how many stickers there were. For a set that had 282 pieces and only 1 printed piece, but you had 15 stickers and 13 of them were unique, I would have thought they would have probably mixed in a different sticker here and there, or a different printed piece instead of a sticker. But overall, again, I did generally enjoy the build. I thought it was like pretty fun to do, and it was straightforward and it was enjoyable. So with that being said though, I'm gonna give the build experience rating an 8 out of 10. Moving on to the next category, we've got durability. The one thing I look at is for a set that's specifically made for ages 8 and up, is are pieces gonna fall off when you're playing with it? And I can honestly say no. Really, the only piece that I was a little bit concerned about was like the little satellite dish, but after playing around with it, shaking it, shooting the lasers, reloading the gun, everything like that, it was actually pretty sturdy, and I was very surprised by that. Sometimes I feel like when you're shaking pieces, like maybe the landing gear falls out or anything like that, but overall I thought the set was pretty well done, and I was definitely very impressed by the durability of it, and this is definitely a set that you can play with. With that being said, I'm going to give this one a rating of a 9 out of 10. So moving on to the next category, we've got the design accuracy. Now this is for me a very important category, especially when it comes to these Star Wars sets, because the whole point of these Star Wars sets is we're trying to mimic or try to create a model version of what we would see in theaters. And I think Lego did a pretty good job on this one as well. I think the overall model definitely looks very comparable to what you would see in like the movie itself. Obviously the one critique I have, and there's not really much you can do because it is Lego builds, is Lego builds are kind of, you know, they're bricky if you want to call it, they're thick. So you're not really going to get that sleek design that you would normally see, for example, in the movies. In addition to that, obviously Lego has studs, so you're not going to cover up all your studs when you're building your set, which is where you're not going to get the exact resemblance as it looks like in the actual theatrical movie version of it. But overall, I thought Lego did a good job with the colors. I like the fact that they included like the right amount of red, whites, and greens. I thought the stickers complemented those colors as well, because like you can tell in some areas, especially on the back wing, where it's harder to get certain pieces into there, and it's probably just better off putting the sticker instead of actually just like using the actual normal like green printed pieces or white printed pieces. With that being said though, I think they did a pretty good job when it came to the overall design accuracy. And so as a result, and the fact that I thought they were pretty accurate with the build itself, I'm going to give this one an 8 out of 10 for design accuracy. And then finally, moving on to the last category, this is design creativity. The first thing I look at, was there any cool building techniques? Was there any hidden Easter eggs? Was there anything that I thought stood out in a way that I would have really enjoyed? So the one thing I actually did enjoy, and it was something that I didn't really think about until later on, was how you can actually incorporate all of the pieces when you're playing with this ship. So what that means is, like, outside of Tonway, when you're playing with the astromech, when you put the astromech character into the ship and you can put its body inside the hull of the ship, I like the fact that you can take the whole build itself and play with it and then just have like the Tonway character on the side. I like the fact that you can store the lightsaber underneath the ship. I like that you get 2 different head pieces, 2 different types of head wear pieces for Obi-Wan Kenobi to set the scene. I think overall it's got a very good playability functionality when it comes to it. Again, like I mentioned before, a little bit surprised that we used 15 stickers. It would have been nice to see a few more printed pieces, especially that you only have 1 printed piece. I'm not saying that the stickers were bad. I was just surprised about how many stickers that they had. I feel like a few of them could have just been a printed piece and it would have been probably a little bit better, and instead of having to sit there and properly place your sticker. Overall, when it came to the design techniques, I like the way that they built the wings. The wings are very sturdy. They don't move in any way, which is perfect because the ship itself in the theatrical version, or the actual Obi-Wan Kenobi ship, doesn't move. It's just supposed to be like a fighter plane pretty much, hence why it's a Jedi Starfighter in that sense. So overall, I think that they did a pretty good job at making it accurate. So with that being said though, for design creativity, I'm going to give it a 7 out of 10. So let's take a look at the final score. Overall, I gave this set a 52 out of 60, which in my opinion, I think is very good. I think it definitely deserves an 87% when it comes to rating this set. There's a lot of amazing things about this set, and I think LEGO did a really good job at finding a way to create a perfect mix between a set that could be played with at ages 8 and up, or also just people like me who've enjoyed the journey of building this set and understanding where it comes from and the significance of it in the Star Wars universe. So that being said though, I guarantee you, if you are a Star Wars fan, you'll definitely enjoy this build. Now let's move on to the design and playability functionality of this set. Like I mentioned earlier on, this is definitely a set that you would play with. So when you look at it from a display playability functionality aspect of it, it's definitely going to lean more towards playability side of things. That being said though, I definitely think you could display this. I do like the fact that the landing gear kind of orientates it properly, so it's like something you could display on a nice shelving piece. I definitely think it's a little bit better than the Yoda Jedi Starfighter just based on how it sits. But I definitely think if you are buying this set, a lot of people are going to want to play with it. It is not necessarily a very big set, but it definitely could sit well on a nice shelving piece, or if you pair it up with all the other Jedi Starfighters. And now we get to the verdict. This is where I ask myself the final 3 questions about this set. So number 1 is, what was my favorite part about this set? And I've kind of mentioned it before, that build experience was a lot of fun. It was very enjoyable. I love the fact that you can kind of have all the pieces stored with the ship itself, other than Tonway, and just kind of play with the ship itself. But most importantly, I think the fact that you got to build a character after every bag was a lot of fun. And the fact that you were to progress the build in a very like organized manner, I genuinely enjoyed. Sometimes when you build sets, you feel like you're building like random pieces at the same time, and it could have been organized a little bit better. I thought they did a really good job at organizing this set, and I think that's what made that build experience a lot of fun, and that's what for me was my favorite part about this set. What would I change about the set itself? Like I said before, I think having 15 stickers was a little bit overkill. I definitely feel like some of those stickers should have just been normal printed pieces, or it could have been just you rebuilding it in some way so you just don't have to use a sticker in the first place. That's just more so me being very picky on it. I'm not saying the stickers were bad. I think the stickers did a really good job, but that's just something that I would have changed. Obviously, usually when you have more printed pieces, usually the price would go up. That being said, the only other additional thing I would have changed as well from this set is the Tonway character. I would have gone more towards the droid method of creating that character, rather than using more of the like extended headpiece and then just using these typical Lego brick body and torso. I think it would have been better if they combined that with more a droid style minifigure, or like the skeleton bodies. They're more skinnier to better represent the Kaminoan characters. And then finally, is this set worth buying in 2024? Yes, I 100% agree that this is definitely a good set to buy and definitely a good set to build. I thoroughly enjoyed it. If you enjoy like the first 3 movies of Star Wars, specifically if you just enjoy the second movie, you'll definitely grow to appreciate this set. I think they did a really good job, like I've said throughout this video numerous of times, and I would definitely recommend buying this, especially when you can purchase this thing at around $40 Canadian and you get a really good price per brick average. I definitely think it's a set that's definitely worth it. And again, if you love Lego Star Wars, you're definitely gonna love building this set. So yeah, with that being said though, this was my in-depth review for the Lego Star Wars Obi-Wan Kenobi's Jedi Starfighter set 75333. So yeah, let me know down below in the comments, did you buy this set? Do you enjoy this set? Let me know what your thoughts are overall on this set. Like I've mentioned before, I genuinely enjoy this set. If you want a cool set to build that'll take you under an hour to build, this is definitely a great set to pick up. And right now it's still actually at the Lego store, which is pretty awesome. And when you're watching this video too, you could probably even get double VIP points because it's during the Star Wars week. So honestly, go out and get this set because you're definitely going to enjoy it. So with that being said though, don't forget to hit the like button, make sure you hit the subscribe button. Most importantly, leave a comment down below. Let me know what you think about this set so far. Did you enjoy this video? Did you enjoy building this set? Have you not bought this set? Are you gonna go and buy this set? Probably get those double VIP points because everybody would love that. I'm pretty sure that's what's happening. I'm not 100% sure, but if I'm not mistaken, I think that's one of the sets that's gonna be allowed to get double VIP points. So honestly, go out and get this set because you're absolutely going to love it. And with that being said though, don't forget to hit the subscribe button that pops up here in the middle. Click on one of these two videos and I will see you guys in the next one. So see ya.